All right, we're going to do chapter 8. Talks all about businesses. First, we're going to start with entrepreneurs, and then we'll get into sole proprietorships and partnerships, and we'll finish off with corporations and other organizations. First, let's start with entrepreneurs. The two learning objectives we have is, first of all, understand the role of the entrepreneur in the market economy, and then differentiate entrepreneurs from people who perform a limited business role. Let's just rewind a little bit and remember that production requires human, natural, and capital resources. And entrepreneurship is a human resource. Without entrepreneurship, the other resources will not bring about production. Without someone dreaming big and willing to take risks, no products would ever get produced. Entrepreneurship can occur in many ways, and without it, production won't take place. We have a few key terms. First of all, financial capital is money needed to start or expand a business. And then innovation is the process of turning an invention into a marketable product. First of all, the role of entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur is the prime mover in the market economy. A visionary, someone who can see what others can't. The entrepreneur's role is to discover and introduce new and better products and more efficient ways of doing things. An example of businesses that are very different but very necessary would be, a self-employed lawnmower, a self-employed lawn guy who, cuts all the lawns in the neighborhood, and I would say this would be, makes $1,000 a month minimum and has one employee, maybe two employees. He's an entrepreneur because he's responsible for his business. He's responsible for his livelihood. If he doesn't do the work, no one else is going to, and he won't make any money. And then we have Walmart, who was started by an entrepreneur, and it's now a $440 billion per year company with 2 million full-time employees. All right, entrepreneurs and creative change. The introduction of new or better products and new production methods are sources of technological progress and economic growth in the economy. Entrepreneurs initiate 4 types of creative changes in a market economy. First of all, they introduce new products. This opens up markets that didn't exist before. For example, Mark Zuckerberg was the primary creator of Facebook. By 2011, Facebook had more than 60 million active users and more than $2 billion in advertising revenue. Zuckerberg was the chief executive officer. He owned 24% of the company, which is valued at more than $10 billion. Okay, he started it. It was a new product that had never been done before, and he became quite wealthy over it. Okay, the second creative change would be improved quality of existing products. Starbucks was founded in 1985, and it started offering higher quality and greater variety of coffee. Howard Schultz started that. He turned the simple cup of coffee into liquid gold. It's a multi-billion-dollar operation with 137,000 employees at 17,000 locations. This is back in 2011, around the world. Introduced new production methods. Henry Ford introduced the assembly line. Ray Kroc, that should be C-R-O-C, applied principles of mass production to make McDonald's hamburgers. Some entrepreneurs combine resources more efficiently to reduce production costs. They use less costly materials, employ better technology, or combine resources in more economical ways. Number 4, introduce new ways of doing business. Michael Dell was the first to sell computers directly to consumers rather than through retailers. So some entrepreneurs step outside existing business models to create a new way of doing business. Michael Dell began with $1,000 and just an idea to sell computers directly to consumers rather than through retailers. His made-to-order computers were sold by phone and over the internet. Dell is now the world's largest computer seller with sales exceeding 170 million per day. Financing the business. A good idea in itself does not guarantee profit. To succeed, entrepreneurs must figure out how to best transform their ideas into reality. They need financial capital. They need money to start or expand their business. Then they must then acquire the necessary resources, including hiring employees and buying supplies. So they need this money to hire employees, to buy supplies, to make their products work. Venture capitalists. So I guess entrepreneurs can find their money through 3 ways. One way is venture capitalists, which are individuals or companies that specialize in financing startup firms, sort of like Shark Tank, those guys and gals that sit on the Shark Tank board, deciding whether they're going to fund a new company, a startup. They can use their own savings. An entrepreneur can just empty their savings, sell everything they own to finance their business, or they can get a loan from a bank. An example, Michael Moore sold all of his possessions to finance his first documentary film, Roger and Me. Moore's movie cost $160,000 to make and sold $6.7 million in tickets at the box office. If you look, you guys might not know who Roger Moore is. Sorry, Michael Moore. He's actually an Academy Award winner, Academy Award winning filmmaker and best-selling author. Let's look at his movies. So the one you may have heard of, his first one was Roger and Me. Fahrenheit 9/11, Bowling for Columbine. Those are the ones that I've heard of. This was winner of Best Picture in the Cannes Film Festival. I'm trying to figure out which one he won the Academy Award for. I'll have to look. I was just trying to see which one he... Producers Guild of America. Sorry, I don't know which one he won the Academy Award for. All right, profit attracts competitors. If an innovation succeeds in the market, many people benefit. The entrepreneur is rewarded with profit and the satisfaction of creating something of value. Workers are rewarded with more and better jobs. Consumers are rewarded with new and better products. The government is even going to benefit from a higher tax revenue, which can be used to fund public goods and services to lower other taxes. Overall, the economy reaches a higher level of business activity. This translates into a higher standard of living for the people who live in the economy. Entrepreneurs may earn a profit in the short run. However, profit attracts competitors and substitutes. Others are going to try to enter the market in the long run and try to duplicate the success of the original entrepreneur. Okay? The original entrepreneur must fight to remain profitable in the long run. Entrepreneurs supply the creative sparks that drive the economy forward. Profit tells entrepreneurs that they are on the right track. Losses tell them to change tracks, to stop what they're doing and try something else. When an entrepreneur wins, many others in the economy win as well. And when an entrepreneur loses, it's primarily the entrepreneur that suffers. Okay, what we have pictured here is what we see up top right here. Oh, I don't want to escape. There we go. What we see right here is like, wood plus a bunch of tools equals, I don't know. I don't know what that would equal. I've got, a pile of wood in my backyard that I can burn, but I also have some really nice woodworking tools, but I don't know what to do with it. But if you add a really smart person, an entrepreneur, a big pile of cash, and then you can turn that wood plus the tools into a really beautiful table. Production won't take place without someone to organize it, fund it, and take the risks inherent in operating a business. What we see here is a pair of inline skates. Prior to 1980, this product was not available to consumers in most parts of the market. Inline skates were produced and used by few individuals, but there was no widespread production. Then, a few entrepreneurs took the risk to produce and mass market this product. At first, there were few producers, so consumers had relatively few products to choose from. As these firms enjoyed growing sales and good profits, many new entrepreneurs entered the market. As a result, consumers had more products to choose from, and the prices for the products fell. Okay, it's just interesting. I have inline skates. 2 of my kids do. We love them. And prior to 1980, we couldn't even buy them. All right, who isn't an entrepreneur? Some people carry out just one of the functions of an entrepreneur. They may dream up a new product or process, they may manage resources, or they may assume the risk of success or failure. Carrying out just one of the roles alone does not make you an entrepreneur. A way of determining more about who is an entrepreneur is to learn more about people in business who are not entrepreneurs. First of all, we have invention, innovation, and entrepreneurs. Innovation is the process of turning an invention into a marketable product. Inventors are entrepreneurs if they bear the risk of success or failure. Most inventors work for firms as paid employees. For example, corporations like Pfizer, Dow Chemical, or Intel, or Apple, employ thousands of scientists to improve existing products and develop new ones. These corporate inventors are paid even in years when their creative juices slow down. Because these inventors take no more risks than most other employees, they are not considered to be entrepreneurs. Some of the individual inventors are in the business of creating new products and then selling the idea to others. Because they accept risk, self-employed inventors are usually entrepreneurs. Managers and entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs do not simply sell their good ideas to others. They try to bring their ideas to the market by going into business. That's sort of what entrepreneurs want to do. That's what they love to do. They claim any profit and suffer any loss. Starting a business does not necessarily mean the entrepreneur must manage the business, but the entrepreneur must have the power to hire and fire the manager. Our example right here is the Segway. Dean Kamen invented the Segway, but then he created a company to make and sell his invention. He hired a chief executive to run the business. Even though Kamen didn't run the business himself, he was still an entrepreneur because he had the power to hire and fire the manager. Kamen's chief executive was a well-paid employee, but not an entrepreneur. And then Kamen later sold the whole business. Actually, there's a video in the YouTube lineup about Dean Kamen that's really good. Stockholders and entrepreneurs. More than half of all households in the United States own corporate stock. If a corporation fails, stockholders could lose the amount they paid for that particular stock. If the corporation thrives, the stock value will increase and the stockholders will benefit. But people buy a corporation's stock because they believe in the manager's ability to increase the value of business. They believe the managers can make more profitable use of their funds than they can themselves make. At the same time, the stockholders assume the risk of the company's success or failure. Does this make the stockholders entrepreneurs? No, not at all. True entrepreneurs do more than take the risk of success or failure. They decide what to produce and usually figure out how to produce it profitably. An individual stockholder, on the other hand, typically has very little to say in the firm's operation. And that's it for that one.